Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you clicking on that video as always. And we are back with another weekly wears video. And if this is your first time finding my channel, my name is Gerard. And on this channel, we talk about all things fragrance. Once a week, I go over every fragrance that I wore all 7 days last week. So if that's content that you think you want to see more of, please be sure, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, of course, and turn on that bell notification so you are updated whenever I upload something new. But without further ado, let's jump right into the list, starting with Sunday. So as you guys know, if you're a frequent watcher of my videos, or if you've been subscribed to the channel for a while, from time to time, I will take all my samples and wear just samples for that week. And that's what I did this past week. So I want to first of all thank some of you guys for sending me some of these samples. I have a ton of samples, and I find that if I just choose a week to wear nothing but, it really sort of opens my eyes to what my next purchase might be. And that is the case, of course, with this week and some of the things I wore. So starting with Sunday, I went with Creed's Millesime Imperial. Now, this is a fragrance that I've tried before. I've tested it in store, and a lot of people get watermelon from this. I don't particularly get watermelon. What I do get is this fruity musk, and it really dries down into this sort of aquatic musk woods. Very, very close. If you've smelled Sean John Unforgivable, they're extremely close. I actually want to do a comparison video on them. They're so close because I think a lot of people are curious about Millesime Imperial. It's one of the more talked about Creed fragrances. It's not my favorite, to be quite honest. I think it's almost too close to the Sean John, and I didn't get really any longevity from it. It didn't last very long on my skin, 3 hours maybe, which is shocking to me because, again, I've had this decant for a while, and what I've found with many Creed fragrances is that they do get better over time. The performance does improve. I didn't get that with this. With that being said, I imagine this being a fantastic signature summer scent for some guys. If you have money to spend, and money is no object, the quality here is excellent. It smells really natural and just amazing, to be honest. The quality is there. I would expect nothing less from Creed. Some of my more favorite fragrances from them, like Green Irish Tweed, Himalaya, excellent fragrances if you guys haven't tried those. But this one, again, just in terms of the performance and what I got overall from the scent profile, I own it. I have Sean John Unforgivable, and that scratches that itch for me. They are very close. What I do envision is this guy owns a boat. The guy that's wearing this fragrance owns a boat. He probably has a ton of babes on the boat every weekend. They're partying, and he's spraying himself heavy with this stuff. Overall, a pleasant experience. I like the scent, just not something that I would really add to the collection. If somebody wanted to send me a bottle, I would accept it gladly. But with that being said, not something that I would probably spend my money on. On Monday, I went with a Middle Eastern fragrance that gets compared to Dior Sauvage, Prada Luna Rossa Carbon. That scent is Ajmal Koro. This one had an interesting sweetness up top, different than what you would find in those other two that I mentioned. So it does make it slightly more unique than those. Not unique, but a little different than those. So not a direct clone. They're extremely similar. I would say why you should consider something like Koro over those two is the performance. The performance is a monster. This lasted all day, projects like a beast. Think early years of Dior Sauvage when that fragrance just performed much better, the EDT. It has the performance and it smells so damn close to those. It's peppery, it's fresh, it's a little soapy clean, fantastic longevity, lots of ambroxan, fresh shower jelly smell. You're not going to offend anyone. Great for the gym, great for the office, great for going out, just a good all-arounder. So I have nothing bad to say about Koro. On Tuesday, I went with one that I've wanted to try for a while. I just never got around to doing so. So I have a small 2 ml decant of this, and I tested it out. Scent I'm talking about is Jean Paul Gaultier's Scandal Pour-Homme. This one has that familiar designer some say bubblegum sweetness. I think what the perfumer did really well with this one is that they were able to articulate this sticky sweetness, and caramel is one of the accords in here. The perfumer did that successfully. It comes across as sticky sweet, and some of that is tempered. I wouldn't say it goes green, but it's tempered by vetiver and sage, which is a unique twist on some of the other more popular bubblegummy type sweet designers like Azzaro, 1 Million, things like that. So I thought that was a unique twist on it. It comes across less youthful. Wouldn't put it in the category of mature, but definitely less youthful than some of those other ones. Still, however, I think this is more ideal for a night out. It's still playful and sweet. Pretty good performer. Lasted pretty much all day on my skin. That sweetness really lingers throughout. And the only criticism I would give it is that it's a bit linear, so it's not that complex or interesting. Familiar, but done a little bit differently. I'm excited about what I wore on Wednesday because I was blown away by this one. It's so interesting. It's so unique. Nobody talks about it. Where is everyone on this one? It is fantastic. The scent I'm talking about is Fusion Dissy Extreme from Issey Miyake. As I said, this one is super underrated. It has this prominent note of coconut. It's pulpy, it's sweet, it's milky. So good. Doesn't come across as tanning lotion or sunblock or anything like that, which I can't stand. I think what the perfumer on here was able to do is deliver an overall experience. And what I mean by that is that the feeling it evokes. It gives me this feeling that I'm taking a walk outside. It's the dead of summer. It's late afternoon. There was just a passing shower, the sun cooking the pavement all day long, and you just get that sort of humid, mineralic smell in the air. It's so cool how it evokes that. And I'm always sort of surprised by Issey Miyake. I think they have a lot of fragrances that are underrated, not talked about a lot, but are just incredible. This is without question full bottle worthy to me. I will be adding this to the collection at some point. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because I think this would be a fantastic summer scent, and I want it in time for summer. So I know some people compare it to Jean-Paul Gaultier's Les Beaux. I don't necessarily get the Les Beaux vibes. This is far less sweet than the Les Beaux. I think this might be a bit more versatile than the Les Beaux. However, I think they would work together in the same season, and they do have a really nice coconut in both. Little different, but both really pleasant overall. This is a good one. Great performance. Definitely grabbing a full bottle. On Thursday, I went with one of the best, more recent releases from this particular house. And the fragrance I'm talking about is Tom Ford Noir Extreme Parfum. And this thing is awesome. Manages to be a really masculine leading gourmand. Utilizes this kulfi note, which is an Indian dessert. It comes across as nutty, creamy, with this edge to it. And the edge is coming from the Gaiac wood in here. It's adding this smoky element. It smells really masculine. And I don't remember or recall having a really masculine gourmand scent, because usually they're really sweet, really heavy on vanilla. And it has some of those elements, but it's just done so beautifully. It's blended incredibly well. I want to say that sweetness is coming from more of a citrus, so it's not overly sweet. It's a mandarin orange, I believe they use in here, along with other citruses. So it adds this fruity sweetness without being overwhelming or too cloying or too modern bubblegum. There's also leather in here, which adds a little bit more edge to this. I really see this being a night out scent for a more sophisticated type of guy. He has his crap together. He knows what he likes. Really well done. Fantastic overall. Lasted all day. Again, one that I certainly want to add a full bottle to the collection too. I'm a fan of Tom Ford Noir Extreme. I might think this one is better. I want to compare them next to one another, but incredible scent and definitely full bottle worthy. On Friday, I went with one that I've wanted to try for a while and I just never did, and it's really popular, and it's from the house of Dior. It's Dior Homme Sport. I liked this on strip when I had tried it a while back. I had just never tried it on skin. I'm glad I tried it on skin because there are two completely different experiences to me. I get a ton of elemi resin off of my skin, giving it this sort of wispy pine effect, but that in turn blends with all the aldehydes in here. So the overall effect I get from this, if you just hung out freshly washed clothes on a clothesline and the sun is beating down on them and the breeze is blowing, that's what I get from this scent. Its sport is misleading in here. This is more versatile than that. It's not like a throw in your gym bag and blue fragrance. So sport or green for some of the older sport type fragrances. Sport, I wish they had named this something else because it's Similar in a lot of ways to Dior Homme 2020. Maybe a bit more citrus up top, a little bit fresher. But what still though, super versatile. This is gonna work in a dressed up situation. This is gonna work in the office. This is gonna work night out. Really nice day-night transitional scent. If you only had to own one, this could be it. But with that being said, it's a bit more mature to me. So there's really little to no sweetness in here that I could get from it. And that might be a turnoff for some. It might come across as a bit old manish to some people. I personally like it for my taste and where I'm at, and just sort of this fragrance thing. What it does do is it creates this fantastic scent bubble around you. You're gonna smell great, you're gonna project great. And this lasted till the next day on my clothes. So can't knock performance. It's an interesting scent. I suggest you go try it, especially if you're a fan of Dior Homme 2020. Try this. They're very similar. It might be redundant to actually own both. I get far less woods though from Dior Homme Sport than I do Dior Homme 2020. But this one might be full bottle worthy as well. Finally, on Saturday, I went with a scent that I think comes from a house that, as a house overall, is underrated. And what I mean by that is they have a couple super popular fragrances, like masterpiece fragrances that everyone talks about. Some of their other offerings, way less talked about, but just incredible, amazing scents that really makes me want to explore this house further. And I think you should too. But the scent I wore on Saturday is Hermès's Bellamy. Really masculine and mature feeling fragrance. Again, zero sweetness in here, but blended beautifully. Stunning blend, stunning composition, just masterpiece. It's complex, but everything is so nuanced, and it has this transportive effect. And what I mean by that is it really makes you sort of envision a place, or will remind you of a place you've been. You feel like you're somewhere. And for me, and I can't even necessarily say I've ever been in this situation, but it's what I imagine it to smell like, is like being in an old Victorian house. The walls are just completely covered with books. This is a confident guy who's really well educated, but doesn't take himself too seriously. I get some amber, I get some vanilla, I get this really animalic leather that in the leather is just, it's one of the best leather fragrances I've ever smelled. Don't think ombre leather. It's not that type of leather. It's not like a car leather. It really reminds you of like being in a study, like maybe leather-bound books, Ron Burgundy style leather-bound books.
I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
I would say this has above average longevity and can be had for a pretty reasonable price, all things considered, being an Hermès fragrance, high-end designer fragrance. So it's just one that I don't feel like is talked about enough. Wore it on Saturday, Bellamy from Hermès. That's all I have today, guys. As always, let me know in the comment section down below, what fragrances have you been trying that you think are going to be full bottle worthy scents? Would love to know what decants, what samples you've been trying. If you like what you saw, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video, hit that bell notification so you're updated whenever I upload new content. But until then, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video.